Coming up this time on Sailing Cedar McClyde, I give a quick tour around Warm Springs Bay before we depart north to Takatz Bay to enjoy the beautiful scenery there, and then bushwhack our way up into the mountains and go backcountry skiing again. Thanks for watching, and if you're enjoying the series, make sure you hit subscribe so you see the next one's coming up. So we've just spent 4 lovely days at Warm Springs Bay, including a day going skiing, and we're just getting set to head off. We filled up the water, had another hot spring bath, and I went for a swim on the hull to scrub off a bit of brown scum that was growing on the rudder and some areas that get quite a bit of sun. But overall the hull's looking really good, no barnacles or nothing. And before we leave, I'm just going to do a quick tour around Warm Springs Bay. There's this beautiful Bristol channel cutter owned by a fellow named John, and we saw him here in 2011 when we came last time, and he gave us a tour of the boat along with this time as well. It's just a beautifully kept boat, super classic lines. Really a treat to see it here again. There's a big float plane dock here, but we never saw a single float plane come in the whole time we were here, which is kind of nice. They make a real racket. There's the great view of the waterfall right behind me here. And these docks are all fairly new. It used to be a free dock, but now it's $20 a day for boats under 35 feet. So not so bad, considering what you get here. And you can also anchor just over here as well. It's fairly deep, 70 feet to 100 feet, but the current always kind of keeps you set. And it isn't so bad. We anchored there the first night we got here when the dock was full. And just up from the dock is the little free bathhouses, which are fantastic. Here's the nice new docks built by the Sitka Borough. And like in a lot of Alaskan ports, there's tidal grids. Apparently this one's fairly difficult because you have the current coming, but if anyone ever needed it to do their zincs or just check out something if they hit a log or whatever, there's one here at Warm Springs Bay. And the water here isn't treated, but all the locals drink it and don't seem to have any ill effects. Here's the boardwalks everywhere. Here's the super cool bathhouses. They're free to use. Folks just ask you empty it out and fill it back up and give it a scrub. A pretty nice view to bathe from. And the hot water is just piped from the hot springs nearby. So at low tide, the current from this river kind of avoids the dock, but when the tide comes up and all these rocks behind me are submerged, the current comes flying straight to the dock, so it can be pretty difficult to get in there with that current. You gotta really come in with some gusto. Coming in on the inside, there's a current coming straight off it, so you really gotta be on the ball to make sure you don't get swept towards the shore with that current coming. Apparently these boardwalks are maintained by the Sitka Borough, and I'm not sure if these are the legit names, if they're actually official, but here they are. Pretty robust ramp. I think this thing is going to outlast all of us. We are underway out of Baranof Warm Springs, or Warm Springs Bay. And we have a nice little breeze flowing into the bay. It looks kind of calm out in Chatham Strait, but there might be a little scales out there, so hopefully we'll be able to keep sailing. But we're only going about 8 miles today to a bay just north of here called Takats, where looks like some beautiful meadows and big mountains. So we're hoping there's a way up into the Alpine to do some skiing again. So we're just at the mouth of Warm Springs Bay, and up there the wind is northerly, but down here about 20 feet below it's kind of southerly, so that's kind of different. This makes it tricky to sail, but we'll figure it out. Probably when we get out of the bay here, a little further out of the bay, it might figure out what it wants to do. Weird. Unfortunately, the wind was restricted to the bays and inlets in the area, so we ended up having to motor about 3 miles up to Takats Bay and then headed on in. Alright, we're coming into Takats Bay, or Takats Bay. The Americans are calling it Takats, I've been calling it Takats. And it's just beautiful here. There is low snow line and huge mountains, and it's just really pretty in here. Nice cliffs everywhere. So we're gonna go spend at least the night here, and I think there's a good chance we're gonna go skiing tomorrow as well. As we approached the inner bay, we were relieved to see that there was an avalanche path that came right down to the beach with no real cliffs inside of it. And so at that point we realized, yeah, we're gonna get a ski up in this area. We enjoyed the sunset and the scenery in the bay, and then got to bed as early as we could, though I was so excited that I had a hard time sleeping. So it's about 5:15 in the morning, and here on SKIING we don't discriminate against different types of water. So we are going to go heading skiing again here on the snow. We're loading up the dinghy with all our kit. Doesn't literally look like too much from the video screen here, but here we go. And we're just... So we've landed on this little beach here, and then we're just going to go across this little creek over to the avalanche path and head on up. Looks okay. Somewhat open. I see a pair of skis flopping around in the bush. Let's see SKIING back there. But it opens up here pretty nice. So that might hopefully be the worst of it. Alright, we're working our way up out of sea level, a little bit of a battle. Devil's Bug. It's always fun in the morning. So the bushwhacking was kind of ridiculous in the avalanche path, and luckily this forest got a little wider and there's a bit of a path up it, so we're free of the salmonberry and devil's skunk for now. Okay, we have backed our way up from sea level to this beautiful view. It was quite a bit of work. There was a lot of devil's club, salmonberry, then we found a spot with some forest, which was a bit easier. And now we're on this little bluff and just about to go see what is in the basin ahead of us. Hopefully quick access to snow. All right, we are abruptly at snow line. There's this huge old piles of avalanche debris that's come down from the slopes above. But fear not, folks. The large bulk of the snow that's gonna slide has slid. All the cornices are pretty much down, and we're still pretty good. It's a cool morning. So we got our skins on. I got my ski boots on. Alex has ski boots on at the beach. I took my baffins up here. And yeah, we're gonna carry on up this here gully. Got our skis on. And we're heading up here, up on this huge piles of avalanche debris that came down earlier this year. Starting getting some elevation here. Big piles of avalanche debris that's come off the granite faces and whatnot around here. It appears that the bulk of the winter snowpack that's going to slide has slid. All the cornices above are pretty much gone now. And it's a fairly cool morning, so we feel pretty happy about going up an otherwise exposed route. Making pretty rapid progress up here now. I think we should be up there in half an hour or so. Beautiful and lush right here, and then there's the huge piles of snow that lead to within a couple hundred vertical meters of sea level that we're able to take advantage of. I've opted to take my skis off again and just boot pack it. It's pretty really firm snow, so I'm not really sinking in, and I'm sort of slipping all over the place with my skins on. But we'll get the ski down here. Trevor Dickinson, Ops 1, AST 1. Just doing another assessment here on the quality of the corn snow here on Baranof Island. We're on lovely Takats Bay right here, or Takats, you American folk might call it, jam straight in the distance. I'm going to have a little assessment here. We see there's a bit of debris, or debris if you will, on the surface. But you know, don't let that trick you. It's still corn snow underneath, I think. Let's have a taste.
Yeah, definitely this this here mossy stuff is adding a bit of a peppery flavor to this corn snow. But this corn snow is not as ripe as yesterday, and is I think it bodes well for us on the upper slopes here for faster, slicker turns. We experienced some sticky corn snow, a bit of cream corn, if you will, on the way down on the other slope. So Trevor Dickinson, Ops 1, AST 1, out. Here comes Alex up from Takatz Bay, hoofing it. The snow's a bit slick for skinning, but we're getting near the top of this gully. Okay, we're just about at the top of this gully. I'm gonna get into the Alpine now. Pretty stoked. 2 more minutes. So we've made it to the top of a big gully, and we're not far from the peak we're aiming for. I don't know the name of it, if it has one. Helmet looks a little ridiculous. There we go. There's the gully. Took us about 2.5 hours or 3 hours to get up here. It'll take us about 10 minutes to get to the bottom of the snow there. What took us 2 hours? Really beautiful up here, and remnants of some cornices, and beautiful Chatham Strait. And we're just gonna go up here, find our way up top of there. Right, Alex?
Right.
All right. Let's get to the top of the ridge here, and looking down to Warm Springs Bay, in fact, and probably to our peak from yesterday. Oh. Wow. Okay, we are just about on our summit above Takatz Bay, and evidently also above Warm Springs Bay, which is right there. And I believe this would be Sadie Lake. And we're actually looking across to the ridge we did yesterday, or the day before. Pretty fantastic. All right, we are on top of this 1,000-meter-ish peak on Baranof Island above Takats Bay, and also above Warm Springs Bay. We're kind of, yeah, we can look right down on Warm Springs Bay. And behind me is the fantastic ice fields on Baranof Island that I didn't know existed. They're quite expansive, considering this island's only something like 30 kilometers wide. It's substantial, being just a bit further north. With so much moisture up here, you end up getting this. But we had a pretty easy trip up here. It was just plodding along, keeping your head down, looking, just counting the steps. The bushwhack at the bottom was a bit exciting, and a bit sharp and spiky. But now we're gonna have a really fantastic ski down. I think the snow quality is gonna be pretty good, and nice angle and nice corn snow initially, and then old avalanche debris down much of that gully, but it'll be fast nonetheless. So yeah, another very successful sail to ski so far. Still got to get down, but it looks pretty sweet for a ski down here. Skiing off the top of this here peak down to the ridge, and then we'll carry on down our gully. Snow is decent right there. It's turning into the avalanche debris stuff now here. Here comes Alex. Skiing's okay. It's a little bumpy. We're on the bottom of it. And we're most of the way down the steep part of our couloir. There's mucky snow. Waterfalls beside us. It's pretty fantastic in here. Wild scene. Skiing past waterfalls, why not? Woo! There's our gully. Alex enjoying the last of the skiing here. There's that nice wooden boat down there. We're kind of wondering if they spotted us and they're watching us come down here. Okay, we made it to the bottom of the snow. And it ends abruptly here, and now we get to look forward to our little bushwhack down. I think I'll wear some gloves or something to deal with the thorns I might be grabbing onto to stop myself from tumbling down. And we're gonna take our skis off here. I think I'll leave my ski boots on initially here. Working our way down the bush. There's Seadream of Clyde waiting with cold beers on board. I'm excited for that. It's about noon right now. Okay, we are almost back to the beach. Dealing with some Devil's Club and a bunch of salmonberries. Salmonberries, okay. Devil's Club. Our spiky. I'm tired. That was a bit hectic coming down. Lots of little drops and spikes. There's Seadream of Clyde thingy up there, and the waterfall we came down beside. Nice day. All right, we made it back to the beach. It's a little scratch. Oh, I got a good scratch on my forehead, I just noticed. I'm not surprised. But we made it down pretty quick. We were like 45 minutes down from where we took our skis off. And I think like an hour and a half from the peak or something. So that's pretty wicked progress. And now we get to go back to the boat, have a cold beer, and I think I'm gonna have a nice little afternoon nap. But yeah, pretty stoked we came into this bay and that there was just this one little somewhat easy to access peak. All in all, Takatz Bay fits the bill for a little ski and sailing business. We just got back to Seadream, and there's a little bag here from some of our neighbors, I believe. Ha! Watching Your Scent this morning has piqued, and he spells peaked in both ways, our interest and provided great entertainment. What a cool activity. Cheers, Captain Ben. You guys are badass. Mayor Jones. Best stranger stalking ever. Thanks for the entertainment. Mike and Elaine Janes from Florida. Incredible watching you. So awesome. Ryan from Orlando. That's amazing. Along with the letter, there's a few shirts here that MV Discovery left us. So thank you so much for that, MV Discovery. That's a real sweet gesture. We wondered if you had spotted us when we saw you sitting in a weird spot off your anchor, perhaps watching us ski down. So, and appreciate the emails from the folks. We'll definitely be reaching out to you guys and love to see some of the photos. Coming up next time on Sailing Seadream of Clyde, we get skunked by the wind again, so we decide to head back to Warm Springs Bay for one more soak in the hot springs. With a strong southerly blowing and some of the first rain in almost 2 weeks, we head up Chatham Strait towards Pavlov Harbor. The next morning, the sun returns as we explore on shore and then carry on north up to the junction of Icy Straits, Lynn Canal, and Chatham Strait, and spend the night at Swanson Harbor. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're enjoying the series, make sure you hit subscribe so you see the next one's coming up. Bye for now! You ready? Rolling. This episode of Sailing Sea Dream of Clyde is brought to you by Sesame Snaps. Is the energy in you? That's it.